I'm Varun Tranquil.
And I'm Anish, Noel Penguin, and we're the hosts of Coaches Know Best.
In this series, we're going to be interviewing collegiate esports coaches and community leaders to cover everything from what it takes to play esports at a collegiate level, what you'll need to do to get there, and how to land those sweet, sweet scholarships.
We've got some great and fun interviews planned for y'all, so grab a pen, a notepad, and get ready to go to college for esports. And we're back, everyone. For today's episode, folks, sit down, grab a snack, and listen up, because today's coach is Teniente from St. Mary's University's Esports.
Hi, I'm Kaitlin, the current head esports coach at St. Mary's University in San Antonio, Texas. And this is our first year as an esports program. We are currently in the midst of recruiting players and holding summer tryouts, and we'll be repeating tryouts again in the fall. So we've got a lot of groundwork to cover.
Oh, yeah. And for anyone who's new to the series or collegiate esports in general, esports in the college or collegiate scene is growing and growing fast. Thousands of colleges throughout North America have esports programs at some capacity, whether it be a varsity program or even a club team. There's really wonderful opportunities to any high schooler who's interested in getting involved with the scene, and I hope that as many of you all as possible take advantage of those opportunities.
Oh, yeah, and there's so many benefits available to players interested in getting involved. Scholarships, friendships, and most importantly, the ability to get your degree while doing what you love. So now Coach Kaitlin here is going to be answering some of your most commonly asked questions about the collegiate scene and the esports program over at St. Mary's University.
And for those of us who don't know what St. Mary's University is and what it's like, could you talk more about the college as a whole surrounding the program?
Sure, yeah. So St. Mary's University is a private school here in San Antonio, located just north of downtown. Um, we're most known for our undergraduate degree programs in engineering and liberal arts, as well as our law school. Outside of that, we're a pretty small community, about 3,000 students, a little over that, and it really feels like everybody knows everybody. One of the other things that St. Mary's is known for is Oyster Bake. It's one event in many events during San Antonio's fiesta here in the springtime. So there is a lot of involvement in that as well. And yeah, I think I think St. Mary's is really unique for being a smaller school. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
So you mentioned Oyster Bank. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so Oyster Bake is part of Fiesta, and Fiesta is a 2-week celebration here in San Antonio where we literally close down parts of downtown for different events. We have a parade, we've got the night parade. People bring their friends, their family. There's a lot of food involved, a lot of drinking involved, lots of dancing and other events. And we host one of those events on campus during that time period. And again, lots of music, lots of people, lots of things to eat and experience. And it's really a unique experience if you're not from San Antonio. And if, either of you do get the opportunity to come to San Antonio, I hope it's in the springtime so that you can enjoy Fiesta.
Oh, definitely. We'll have to try that myself, and I encourage any viewers who are watching this to take advantage as well.
Yeah, so I guess, Varun, we're headed to San Antonio for vacation, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now inside that amazing college that you described, you have a wonderful esports program. Could you speak a little more about your program and what the experience is like at St. Mary's University and what you guys have over at that program?
Yeah, so it is our first year. And like I said before, we've got a lot of ground left to cover, still a lot of legwork that we've got to do. Um, but the program is, about competing in collegiate esports at the highest level, having not just really skilled players, but having well rounded players, having well rounded student athletes. Next to that, or even before that, academics comes first. We put a high standard on our student athletes to be academically successful as well as competitive. um, but when it comes to the players themselves, we want to ensure that they've got, or when they leave this program, that they leave with really positive college experiences, a healthy competitive environment that they were able to compete in, and that whatever they take away from the program is going to be positive. It is going to be something that they look back on and cherish. But to get there, we have, we've got a lot of things that we're working on. We want to make sure that every experience from start to finish is both highly competitive and still a fun experience. So, tryouts, for example, we are in the midst of Overwatch tryouts right now, and we want to ensure that everyone is still having fun with their teammates, that everyone's voice gets to be heard, and that at the end of this week, that we can pick the players that hit all of our criteria.
I like that. Um, you mentioned some of your criteria, and I think that's a great way to try out. And I really appreciate all that you guys are doing as a program to get started. And I have to ask now, what exactly does your program provide to players, or what do you think that you will start to provide once your program starts up in fall?
So any student that is a student athlete for the esports team can expect to be treated like any other student athlete. They're going to have access to our practice arena, which is located in the heart of campus. They're going to get a team jersey. They are going to be essentially held to the same expectations and standards of all other student athletes for any sport. The biggest difference is going to be where we practice and where we play our matches and the equipment that we use. Alongside that, we are, you know, actively looking for collegiate competition to participate in throughout the year, as well as competitive circuits and leagues, as well as what we're kind of coining as our checkpoint system. As a student player or as a student athlete on our esports team, at the beginning of every semester, we're going to set 4 goals with you: a academic goal, an in-game goal, a wellness goal, and a non-gaming goal. And throughout the semester, we're going to have practice dates that are blacked out and specifically used for, a study hall for midterms or finals, or we might schedule 30 minutes to do yoga with one of our instructors on campus, or this 2-hour block where you can go to tutoring, or you can go visit your academic counselor, what have you, to help reach those goals. And then at the end of the semester, we'll have another one-on-one with the player and the coaches, and see what kind of growth and progress was made, and see if we need to adjust those goal points. So those are some of the things that you can expect as a player in this program.
Wow, and I have to say, first of all, like, that is extremely unique. I've never seen that sort of checkpoint system in really any other collegiate program that I've ever encountered. And my next question is, what other things distinguish you guys from other college esports programs? Definitely that checkpoint system is something to note when looking at St. Mary's University Sports, but what other differences are there? What makes you unique in comparison to other programs?
I definitely think all of the other programs have something that make them special, or something that no one else will be able to emulate. And I think at St. Mary's, the checkpoint system is definitely one of those program processes But what I think it really comes down to is the support that we have on campus from the administration, from the athletic department, from students. There is just so much positive support about adding this program, esports, to the university. Um, I think, not that other schools don't have the support or um, those positive members of the community, but I think for such a small community, it feels like it kind of just brings us closer together. um, and another thing that I think is really really unique is that our university center, where everybody goes to get lunch or go to the bookstore, we are located right there. Like when you walk into that building and you look up, our arena is right there. So we want our athletes to be visible. We don't want there to be any kind of wall between the student body and the esports student athletes. Like we are very big on building bridges, hosting community nights where we can play games and meet other St. Mary's students. And we've got a couple events in the works right now to um, increase that engagement and hopefully leave students with a sense of belonging, that they too belong to this program even if they're not a student athlete.
Wow, that sounds really cool, and that's some really good stuff you guys have going on there. So, what are some of the requirements for players interested in joining this wonderful program that you guys have going on?
So, if you're a current St. Mary's student or you are incoming freshman or transferring to St. Mary's, um, our first requirement is that you're a full-time student and that you're in good academic standing as defined by the university. And if it's a game that you have to pay for, that you own the game, and if it's a free to play game, your game account is in good standing. And so those are the minimum requirements to try out. Now, when it comes to player selection, the criteria that we're going to look at is going to be a little more in depth. We're going to be looking at making sure that you hit those minimum tryout requirements, but also are you someone that brings a positive attitude to every game? Are you a player who communicates effectively with your teammates and the coaches, and communicating through voice but also through text? We look at players in-game skill, where their talents and skills are, what kind of champions or heroes are they playing, depending on the game, what their strategy looks like, how they rebound from a bad game, what their ranking is, if there is a ranking ladder within any given game. We also look at players' ability to give constructive feedback as well as take constructive feedback. And we, as much as we can, we try to look at what kind of information a player will bring to every single game, whether it's research, whether it's a new kind of strategy, something from outside the game that they're bringing to every time they play, bringing to the team every time they play. So that's it's a lot to list out, but at the end of the day, if you're someone who is passionate about the game, has a good attitude, is willing to improve their gameplay and willing to improve as a player, there's a very, very good chance that you would become a player on our team.
That's really cool. And in your mind, would you say that's sort of the ideal characteristics of like a perfect high school candidate?
Very, very similar,
Very similar.
perfect high school candidate would have good grades so that they can come to St. Mary's on an academic merit scholarship, would be someone who is practicing their game and has the attitude of wanting to learn or teach what they know to someone else. as well as, working on the communication, or is a good communicator, has a good attitude, or, um, is has that, all of these things that translate into passion for the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. And um, with how you described not only the campus but also your esports program that you're going to be starting soon, I'm really excited to see how this all works out and how you guys end up progressing in the fall season. So I have to ask now, what is your favorite part about being at St. Mary's at the campus, and what do you expect will be the favorite part of running the esports team that you guys are starting up?
So I think personally, my favorite part of campus is to be determined. Campus is like, it's really green and lush, and it's, there are some older buildings, and it's a very pretty place to be. Again,
Oh,
if you ever get the opportunity to visit, I would highly encourage you to. Um, I don't necessarily know if the esports arena is going to be my favorite location on campus, just because there are so many interesting places on campus. But I think when it comes to the program so far, I think my favorite part has been interacting with the students, listening to their feedback, listening to, the games that they want to play, why they want to play them, um, and really getting to know some of our some of our community. I'm not. I did not go to St. Mary's for university, and so a lot of St. Mary's traditions and things are, they're new to me, and so I'm learning about St. Mary's as people are learning about the program that I'm setting up, and so it's a good experience, being able to talk to the students. And I think once we have players, that's not going to change. It's always going to be, being an advocate or being a liaison for these players and for this program is going to be something that I hold dearly to me.
Wow, that's wonderful. And it sounds like you guys have a really strong and wonderful community there. So, I guess if a player wants to get involved with esports at St. Mary's, what can they do next?
Sure. So, if they're a current or incoming student, the best thing that they can do is reach out to me, um, via email, Discord. I'm sure you can find me on Twitter, and just tell me what exactly, or, broad idea of what it is you would like to do. If you would like to be a player, I'm going to direct you to participate in tryouts. But if you're looking to be part of the staff and work on this program, I would say try to narrow down what it is you're interested in, so that we can figure out, how to best give you a meaningful volunteer experience, where you're going to take away, um, you know, interesting skills or interesting experiences, because, everyone's time is precious, and we want to make sure that, whoever wants to join this program, that their time is respected and used in the best way possible. If it's someone who is not a current St. Mary's student, I would say, same thing, reach out to me via email, Discord, Twitter, what have you. Um, Give me as much, supplemental information as possible, a resume, a cover letter, a personal statement, anything of that nature. And again, list out for me the things that you're interested in, so that we can try to figure out if there's, a a volunteer opportunity for you, because similar to student volunteers, we want to ensure that everyone who does volunteer with the program is getting a meaningful experience.
That sounds really cool. Yeah. So, quick question. What are the certain staff positions that you guys currently may have open or have in mind as the season progresses?
So we're still fleshing out the exact titles and exact roles, while allowing for the possibility that we can't, we won't know everything until we get there. But generally, we're going to be looking for volunteer analysts to help do research, do VOD reviews, help with strategy. But that's going to be dependent on the number of teams we have for any one game. And if we feel that there's a need for, say, an Overwatch analyst or, say, a League of Legends analyst. We're also looking at figuring out a volunteer position that kind of works as the liaison between the program staff and the student body. Someone who might, help facilitate game nights or help volunteer with events. Again, we haven't figured out exactly how we're going to name these volunteer positions or exactly what responsibilities might fall within either, but broadly, we're looking for, again, when the need arises, we'll be looking for help with the ins and outs of the game, and then also community building.
That's really cool. And I really like how you guys have this external involvement that's doesn't like require an individual to only just be a player. And that's something that's pretty unique, I believe.
And here in San Antonio, we've got, a pretty long history of gaming. PAX South is here every winter, and even before that, there was plenty of groups that play Smash or CS:GO or are part of the clubs at the other universities here, and so there are a lot of people who are interested in gaming and esports, and we want to again have an environment where players can take away a really positive experience, and anyone who is a member of our program or affiliated with the program as a volunteer also takes away a meaningful and pleasant positive experience.
I love that. I think that really sets you apart, and then it also shows your willingness to work towards your players, and I love that. So if anyone's watching here, you know what to do, you know what's available, you know what the benefits are. So there's no reason not to just to check out the description and then figure out everything you need to know in terms of next steps. There, you'll find coaches' Discord name, email, and a website for more information about the program. So, if you are interested, be sure to check that out and be sure to contact Coach Kaitlin here so you can access the opportunities that are available for you at St. Mary's University. I really hope that so many of you all take advantage of these opportunities because really, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So, Coach, anything else you would like to mention? Anything else you'd like to say to the crowd?
Um, for anyone who is interested in esports, don't be afraid to reach out. Um, I'm a firm believer that esports is for everyone, and there is a place for everyone in esports, whether that's as a player, a spectator, someone who facilitates events. Um, there's definitely a place for everyone here. So again, if you don't know where to start or you don't know the questions to ask, just reach out and start there.
Well said. That's all we have for you, everyone. Be sure to check out all that St. Mary University has. There are timestamps in the description if you miss anything. And have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, Coach.
Thanks so much for having me.